My name is Rideout. I am 54 years old. I am on the Habitat board. I've been on it for a little over a year and a half. I make, well, matter of fact, I'm even on the financial part. We meet once a month. We discuss our finances and then we bring it to the board, and then we discuss it and make the vote again like we're supposed to. And I go out and also check the houses out when people turn in their applications for a Habitat home, and we bring them back to the board. I don't vote on those because I've already seen the houses, so I excuse myself off of voting on those. So, but as far as being on the Habitat board, it's a wonderful thing. Habitat is a great thing to be associated with. They build the houses. I mean, they are just excellent people. They work with the families. They do what they can to get you into a home. They try to get you off the streets. If you're in a home that is run down, they do their best to get you into a home that is affordable and up to date. And I mean, just perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better home.
So tell us about what you were doing before you got a Habitat house.
Before I got my Habitat home, I was living in the projects. I had lived in them all my life, ever since I was born. I got married in 1990. Me and my wife, I actually moved into an apartment in the housing. We had our daughter, and she passed away before she turned a year old from heart disease. We stayed 2 more years after that. She got pregnant again and had our son. We stayed with our son in the apartments, and Habitat applications came up again, and we applied again, and we got accepted that time. Actually 2 blocks from where we lived, and we helped build the house. Matter of fact, there was 2 older men that was there just every day, and I helped them with just a little bit of anything I could to get sweat equity, because you have to get sweat equity hours. If you're married, you have to have 300 hours, and if you're just single, you have to have 150 hours. So we had to have 300 hours, and man, we put in way over our hours because, Albert wanted them hours so that, he was on top of things. So.
Yeah. Awesome. What's the house like?
The house is a 3-bedroom house, 1 bath, kitchen, living room. It's on a pretty good size piece of ground. It is marvelous. I mean, you couldn't ask. I mean, I'm in a neighborhood with quiet neighbors, older generation. At first, when we first moved in, we had some people that had kids, but the kids has grown up, moved away. So now we're there. Now that our son is grown up, he's married and moved out. So now we call it the senior citizen block. I mean, there's not no kids on the block now, so. But it's great. I mean, it's wonderful. The house is just marvelous. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better house.
And it's paid off.
I couldn't have went to a bank and got no better house. I mean, and payments on the house was real cheap, just like we needed. We had tried to get one through the bank, and we got turned down, but they even told us that if we got accepted, that our payments would be like $800 or $900 a month. And we knew that we couldn't afford that because I was working for minimum wage at the time. And back then, me working on minimum wage was like $4.75. So, Albert knew that $4.75, we ain't gonna pay no $800 a month payment on a house.
Right.
So,
Not at all. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so what's the difference, in your opinion, between living where you were living and living where you're living now?
the difference between living where I was and living where I'm at now is where I was, it was a government type housing. They had rules. You couldn't plant flowers. You couldn't do this. And you couldn't do that. You had to keep everything so-so. Now where I'm at, we got freedom to do what we want to. We can plant our flowers. We can have our own little barbecue if we want out in our backyard with our neighbors or our family.
What advice can you give people who, maybe were living in an apartment block like you were living, and they don't think they can afford a house, and there are programs out there? What advice do you have?
The advice I have for people that's living in an apartment like what I was living in is try Habitat. I mean, it won't turn you down. I mean, just because you're living in an apartment that don't have a lot of issues, but your rent is $500 and $600 and $900 a month. I mean, that's what I've heard that the apartments that I used to live in, that's what rent has gone up to them in them places. And I mean, you're renting an apartment for the rest of your life for $600 and $700 a month, and you're not gonna own it. Try Habitat, get something that you can afford, its payments are a little cheaper, and so you have to pay on it for 30 years for $500 a month. After 30 years, guess what? It belongs to you. I mean, nobody can take it away from you then. But if you're renting, you just keep renting and renting and renting and renting, and it's never gonna belong to you as long as you live there.
Yeah, you brought up a point about generational wealth, right? Like,
Right.
You have a son?
I have a son.
You have a son? And you own the house now, right?
Right.
So there you go. I mean, that's the beginning of getting out of, you said you grew up in government housing.
Right.
Yeah. And now, the family, the house is worth something, and it's yours.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about worth something. We talked to our insurance company the other day, and he said that our house has actually appraised more this year than it has in the last few years. And I told him, I said, really? He said, yeah. He says, your appraisal on your house and property has gone up this year. And I said, wow, I cannot believe it.
Yeah, well, what's that mean to you?
That just gave me a great feeling, because I've got more into my house and appraised that I wouldn't have had if I had stayed in those apartments. I mean, if I had stayed in those apartments, I mean, I paid my house off back 5 years ago. And if I had stayed in those apartments and kept paying my rent of almost $400 a month, look at all the money that I would have gave those people, my landlord, that I wouldn't have been able to collect. I mean, my son would have, when I passed away, my son would have had nothing. Now, when me and my wife pass away, he's got a house that he can have. He's got something that he can say, look what my mom and dad has got. Look what they worked hard and paid for. Everybody's got hope. I mean, if you don't got hope in Habitat, just try them. I mean, people here at this Habitat here in Henderson, Kentucky, they will bend over backwards to help you. There's one lady here that works past her time at night to help you. I mean, she has stood up and told us that if your credit rating is just about that much, too much, under where you can't apply for a Habitat house, she will work with you to try to get you into it. Just have the hope that Habitat is there for you. Don't push it off. You know, I've heard that people say Habitat is for people that don't have a house. It's not. Habitat's for anybody that needs a home and wants a house. I mean, it'll work for you. Just like I was telling you a while ago, we went and visited a lady that had issues on her house. And you wouldn't believe some of the houses that we've visited. Because I'm on that committee too. And they said, there's no way y'all are gonna approve us for a home. But you know, if there's any way that Habitat here in Henderson can approve you and try to get you a home, we will do it. Henderson will do it. And we work hard. We've got builders out there that works even in the heat to work to get their houses built and on time.
Awesome.
We can't hire contractors that will work and get a house built as fast as our contractors with Habitat.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Bobby Harmon. I'm 65 years old, live here in Kentucky.
Before you got a Habitat house, tell us about where you were living.
Over in an apartment there in the east side of Henderson, and paying outrageous rent. So then I signed up on Habitat. They got me in over here and saved a lot of money. Plus it'd be mine when it's done.
What was the outrageous money? So how much were you paying over there?
$700 a month, I think it was.
And we think in terms of like
That's
income.
one bedroom.
One bedroom.
Yeah.
So in terms of income, were you paying a lot of money in terms of how much you were bringing in every month?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So it wasn't. It sounds like it wasn't sustainable to live there.
No, not really.
What was the apartment like?
That's one way in, one way out. Roof, bathroom had mold all over it. I mean, it just wasn't worth what I was paying.
Yeah.
And plus, you know, you couldn't, if you had a fire there, you had to get past the heater. In case that was fire, you couldn't get out of the windows or nothing else. No back door, no nothing. So,
Well, you grew up here in Henderson.
but yes,
Yeah.
lived in Lawndale most of all my life. Growing up over there.
What was that like growing up here?
Oh, it's a hell of a time. That's all I can say really about that. I mean, everything's been good.
You like Henderson? You want to stay here?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, so then you got a Habitat house. What was the process like?
It was easier than I thought it would be. Like I said, I applied for it and waited, and they called me and told me, you know, I was eligible for one. So I got with them, talked to them and everything, and started working my hours and everything. So it was really a miracle, I tell you. I was surprised I got one.
Why were you surprised?
Well, I've been turned down on so many other stuff trying to get, so I just got lucky on that.
Can you tell us about the house that you live in?
Yeah, it's like old time, I call that shotgun house, like a runway.
Okay.
It's 2 bedrooms. Oh, it's plenty of room for me. That's all I need. Big bathroom and everything. Something I wasn't used to. And like I said, my kitchen, living room, combined together, it's lovely.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah. You have a yard?
Oh yeah. Yeah, fenced-in yard I put in there and everything. Love it.
Awesome. What's the neighborhood like?
Well, it's getting better. It's a little rough over there with all the kids and adults, stuff going on, drugs and all that. But they got that all pretty well cleaned out over there. So.
You ever spend time with the neighbors or anything like that outside, or?
Yeah, well, they have a few over there that comes out and talk to you and everything. The rest of them just stays in the house. And that's about it. Yeah, I got real good neighbors.
Nice. Like Austin was saying, what do you say to people who don't have hope, can't pay where they're living, wish that they had a better place or different place?
Well, like he was saying, just get with Habitat, agency like them. I mean, you get with them, you're gonna have hope. Believe me. It might take a while. They might get turned down first time. Try again. But yeah, Habitat has been good to me, real good.
Did you know about Habitat before you got the house?
No,
No. Okay.
no, I just used to go to their store and buy stuff, which I still continue today to do.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I'm a hoarder.
You got stuff at the house. Well, you're able to buy it because
Yeah.
maybe your rent is, or your mortgage is
Oh,
affordable.
yeah, I can afford a lot of stuff now.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to worry about, saving up here and there to pay this and all that. So, yeah, get by pretty good.
What kind of stuff did you do for the, is it called, sweat equity? Is that what you call it? What kind of stuff did you do for the house?
Well, I mostly just come over here and work the store because I was on disability and I couldn't help with the house. They I might hurt myself or something like that. But I worked in the store. I got almost 400 something hours in. So I just greet people and try to help if they let me, but they wouldn't let me help because I'm on disability. So but I still come over here as a day, still volunteer,
Yeah.
greet people and stuff like that, which I love doing that.
Well, you mentioned the people here at Habitat. So what can you say about them?
Oh, they're great people. They really are. Even the builders, I mean, just like family. I mean, if it's something you need, all you gotta do is go talk to them. They can make it happen.
You got to see the house getting built though.
Hi. Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you go visit it when it was during the
Oh, yes, I was over there almost every day.
Yeah.
Watching them build it, trying to help, trying to do something. I might take donuts or water to them or something like that. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I was involved in it a little bit. They might not, they want me to get out of the way, but I'm right there anyway.
But it sounds like you wanted to show how grateful you were.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, I am, I tell you. I appreciate everything they've done and still do today.